Then for Facebook live stream API, on, we'll start here. Okay. This is the awkward part where I'm talking about microphone, it's not amplified, it's all it's here. It is so we're joining like Facebook live here on here. So if you are speaking here in person, I'm just gonna ask that you keep this because there are likely people participating by virtually. So it's a little bit weird, but we're so welcome everybody. Thank you for all for coming out this evening. I'm going to bring in this is me. I'm the executive director of Nied. I'm going to hear my panel. They're on laptop and chat. And we're good.
I'm Abby Gilday. I'm the district manager. Rebecca brought our coordinator.
And we are here for a community meeting on a liquor business transfer at Butler. We're honored to be joined by two of these himself here tonight. So that's a video. So two folks around here tonight will be a quick welcome. Many of you are veterans of this community process, but to be uninitiated, we'll just give you a quick introduction, then about accessibility, and then we'll kind of queue up what this project is all about. We will have a Q&A, and then we will close it out with some community updates and in the final part chat. Yeah, so we're going to get out of here by 8 o'clock. Just a note on accessibility, we do strive to really make these, pandemic and trying to make these accessible as possible. Have returned to in-person meetings, but we continue to do it hybrid. We are very committed to making these accessible, so please let us know if you have any accommodation. We always offer childcare for those who need that. If you're joining us by Facebook Live, drop comments and questions into the chat. Emma is monitoring that, and we will read those here so people in person happening virtual. We always do ground rules as part of these community meetings, and we like to call it community agreement, where we invoke Mr. Rogers. And the general principle of the community agreement is that we're going to treat each other as neighbors. As neighbors, we all are neighbors in this room, so please act neighbors. And what that means is being respectful of everyone here in the space, including our guests and your folks. Please do not use any language that denigrates any groups of people. We want to make sure that that works for everybody. We don't want to flip in a comment like those people or this group of people. Don't want to hear that kind of language. And keep in mind that everyone has equal right to speak their mind here. So let's get to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to speak. So if you are somebody about the line question, great. We want to hear all your questions, we want to hear all your feedback. We just have to be mindful and make space that everybody can get into their question before you go off on your full plan. So that's generally our community agreement. Are we all in agreement with these communities? We all agree to these ground rules. Thumbs up. Does anyone not agree to these ground rules? Okay. And just to put a finer point on it, we've held 200 meetings like this, and I can't remember having recently having to shut down these, but if the meeting does violate the ground rules, we will ask the person violating it to stop. If you do not stop, we will stop it. Okay.
So I'm going to introduce some information on why we're all here. So we're all here on the license transfer. This is again direct information. This is both from Boston. the license type is a hotel, liquor license transfer, which. Person transfer, the license number is listed. And it needs to know more than the C. Raise your hands, G, Mary, the, license manager, and the owner. The date posted was April 8th. Like, it does include the exterior area, and they're looking to pursue an permit if it's based on the license. The overall vision for the space, which we'll learn much more about, is not a legendary for sandwich, our commitment to maintaining local standards that require partnership. Our plan to renovate and preserve hotel interiors, will allow us to but they have any fun. They're creating along the line of fire that is listed at the location. And then there's into the spot.
And just moving forward in this too, I know most of you of our relations have a community. But we do this community meeting, we're not taking on this particular business, we do this anytime there's a liquor license transfer or a development that can be at a zoning board that reaches a certain scale. So if you're just building a backwards and your company to make a zoning board trip, we're not gonna have to do a community meeting for that, but it's 4 or more projects, housing units, zoning changes, those kinds of things that we're here to process. When we do it for liquor license, we do them for a long time now. And we try to do it anytime there's a liquor license from the neighborhood. And that is kind of a result of our responsible hospitality work. We've been doing it for a long time. To make sure that it's running responsibly. So that's why we're here, part of these meetings, we require for 500 feet. And it's a co-facilitated process, we want to United Wants Corporation. Probably should have mentioned at the start of this meeting that, if you're not going to have a permission to take through protect all your residents. We're the resident advocacy organization. And LC as a sorry for or so yeah, LC is the steward responsible development in the neighborhood. And that's a lot of things. But we work on closely with LU in this process. And by community process, hopefully, and then of course, we're district.
My name is Mary Brown. I am one of the partners in the development. So you're going to hear a lot of hopefully how and sort of large engineers and I'll show you pictures of the drawings and the things that we're going to about. So let's talk a little bit through just some of the basic things. I think a little bit on it. So we consolidating your two houses are kind of a hotel right now. We're working through that process of consolidation has been approved. The signatures are getting collected. So there are two parcels. So one of them is already purchased and renovation, and the hotel is one that's still there. That's all I do today. So with our business plan, so really just thinking about, wanted to show you a visual of our customer demographic, kind of what we're thinking and where we're going to take an hour of operations, as well as the food, entertainment, and fashion recycling. So ultimately, as a founder, everything we're doing is the community, and we want you all to be involved. Thank you all for trying to run your feedback. And we want to be able to bring the it's a very bad time for people that who pick up the another project, well, it's very needed. All great communities that we live in, so, Ruth and myself are business partners. And we both live in, invest in the worst spot. And, Tom Bar and New York are our other two partners, they're really against all our law. Just a little bit more about us, sort of our background, lots of entrepreneurial efforts here. Also, Ricky was a professor. I worked in corporate America. We had a marketing company. We found a chef and running successful restaurants for life. So, quite the skill set on the leadership team and work to come together and create.
I'm sorry.
We'll find out.
Is that we're better?
Sorry, one second.
Here. You want me to keep going?
Give us just 1 minute.
Oh,
You can try again or like test it again. There's no response now. So it might be.
So the history of Nied, we all know, it's been, in the city of Pittsburgh for a long time. Jimmy has saved so many amazing pieces in the hotel, that are in the basement that we plan to put back in the hotel and really, preserve as much of the beautiful woodwork and history that. You can see a couple of pictures. This is just in the basement. There's these really beautiful stained glass windows. I'm not sure if anyone remembers those from years ago, but those will make a reappearance. And then this is the beautiful second floor. This is actually a picture of the set of Mary Kingstown. The show that's on, it was a Netflix show, but, they go in a couple seasons, but episodes and even, Jimmy's Slumber in the last episode of the second season, yeah. Now my Jimmy's again, I'll show you there. I recorded it on the thing. But the reason the TV show decided to film here is because of the beauty and because of the history, and it really, I think showcased the story of the food local students. And is very proud to be continuing to remember history. All right, so we're going to show just a simple plan of the different buildings that are on the lot. So this is the hotel here. This is the amphitheater, that outdoor area. Then there's 2 single family houses in the back. So this parcel here is already under renovation and perfect. And then this is the hotel with a single family home in the back, and then a garage with a stairwell in the back. So I'll show you what the technology is like. The size of it is not going to change, we're just going to increase some of the square footage. This second story addition going to look like back here. So if you remember seeing it or have seen it anytime recently, there's a garage in the back and then a stairwell. So demoing that and then rebuilding just the back of the bar restaurant to have a bigger kitchen that can service more people and more guests. And then also to create a rooftop area for the guests of the hotel to spend time. Yeah, so this is the back. So you'll see this lighter color orange is all of the addition that'll be there. And the reason we're taking the small section down, that's the stairwell now, is because we need to make sure that it's structurally safe. And it makes more sense to take that down and rebuild it so that so everything's safe, and we'll also be adding an elevator in there as well, so that every floor will be accessible. This is just a quick rendering of the interior. This is the first level. So you can see the bar areas down here, the restaurant. You won't see a lot of changes in the bar restaurant area. The idea is to really bring it back with some updates and some improvements, but you're gonna feel like you're at Nied when you're at the bar. And then these are the second and third floor plans. So these may not be exactly like they are here, but we're still working on just making sure the layouts are correct and making any changes depending upon any permitting or things like that are going on. But what we are doing is adding a bathroom to every single room. That's something that will bring it up to code, but also just allow better hospitality for the guests that are staying. And then we are increasing the room count to account for additional guests, but then also there are 2 additional rooms that come with a rebuilding of the kitchen in the second story addition on the back. All right, so a sneak peek at some of the food that will be on the menu.
Good stock sandwich, or stock imaging.
Stock photos. Oh, Bart, Terry, stock photos. So lots of bar food with a twist. You're gonna have a lot of good quality. Tom and Lee have spent a lot of time really making sure that they're bringing the right people on board to make delicious food and continue to, please everybody that comes in. Some specials that'll be on there. This one.
First pass.
Yeah, this one we're really excited about. So, we're gonna do breakfast sandwiches in the morning with coffee, a little, walk-up window. You can get a coffee and a breakfast sandwich. So that's something that, down by where Nied is, there's not a lot of places that do that. So it'll be a really great experience for folks that can walk around in the morning.
You go with back in the A's and drink coffee.
Delicious. All right, so the hotel portion, so the second and third floor, it's going to be a boutique hotel. So there are 12 rooms there now. We're going to end up with 13 rooms. And there's going to be options on each floor. There will be an option that has a room that's big enough to have a kitchen and its own bathroom. So that could be an area where if somebody's staying for 30 days, maybe in town, and they need an extended stay and they want to have their own kitchen. So we're going to make that possible on both floors. But the idea as well behind this is also driving some group lodging, right? So we have a lot of people that come to town for weddings or small get-togethers, maybe a retreat, where maybe there's 10 people that want to rent a whole floor, right? And they're able to have that privacy. They have that kitchen, they have individual bathrooms, and they're able to enjoy the space. So those are all things that we're thinking about and things that we want to make sure our guests have as accommodation. So this is just a rundown of the rooms that we're planning for right now and what those are going to look like. Of course, entertainment. So this is what Nied is known for. And something that we'd like to continue that tradition and using the amphitheater space and the inside space to be able to, have events at the bar outside of the evening. Right. Well, this is our hero, Mr. Nied. That's majority. So good. Yes, for sure. But thank you all so much. Happy to answer and field any questions or anything you have.
All right, I think we're moving into our Q&A. So does anybody want to kick it off? Michael, please, as you are speaking, make sure you speak in the microphone, and please also identify yourself.
Hi, thank you guys very much for coming. My name is Michael Boyle. I live on Carnegie Street, in Canada, 53rd.
Yeah.
My question is on the hotel, is this a full service hotel or a collection of Airbnbs that we're going to call a hotel?
It will be a full service hotel. You'll be able to book multiple ways. So it could be a walk-in booking, where there'll be a lobby in the front where there'll be somebody working there. And while the bar is open, the lobby will be connected to the bar. So it's sort of like if someone's waiting for their room, they can go and have a drink at the bar or, get some lunch. So you'll be able to book same day and just book a room, just like a hotel. The rooms will be available on some of the short-term rental sites as well. If there's somebody that's booking in advance and is looking for something like that. But ultimately it's going to be a hotel.
Okay, as a follow-up question, and I guess this is neither here nor there, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about it. Hotel operation is a separate business that a lot of people spend their entire careers understanding, and it doesn't seem like you guys have that in your very impressive background, very impressive resume, but it doesn't include hotel management. What is your plan for, is that just where you figured out as you go, or?
No, so, myself and Brigitte are local real estate investors. So we own and operate, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, long-term rentals, and we both have backgrounds in the hospitality industry. So my background is a lot of human resources and project planning and project management, people leadership, and operations leadership. So I will be running operations for the hotel, and building that team out. We'll have a hotel manager, and we'll also have a separate bar manager. And we're actually working through, standard processes and things like that now that we're building out. Because what we're doing, what we manage with the hotel, we also are managing, in our own business.
Okay.
So managing, cleaning services and things like that, so.
And I do have a degree in hospitality and board hotels.
Awesome. Good luck there.
Next question. And if you're joining us by Facebook Live, feel free to throw a comment or a question in the chat. Joanne?
Just wondering if you plan on having a lot of music there?
I would say no different than how it operated before. As much as the community wants, and what makes sense.
You mean the bands that?
Yeah, I mean, the names of the building will absolutely play there at some point, and Slim will absolutely play there at some point. Obviously, we're gonna work with the neighbors to make sure the dollars make sense and nobody's paying, output, so.
Thomas Crown, what about parking? You know, 21 hotel rooms there. Lawrenceville is already our place to park in.
Yeah, we're looking into the zoning of that right now. I think that's. Yeah,
Lot 21.
13.
13, 13.
Yeah, we made anywhere between 0 to 3 parking spaces, and that's yet to be determined.
For 13 rooms, 3 parking places.
Yeah, because of the status of the liquor license.
Can I ask how that happens when another place that is just a restaurant has to have 13 spaces? And you have a hotel and a restaurant? And how does that happen? How do you get that? And the people that are down by, where was that other restaurant that they were doing? Yeah, how come you get that and they don't? Just wondering.
Do I need to press anything?
No, you're good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Christine Rowe, an architect, and I'm one of the 2 architects working with the team on this project. I'm also a Lawrenceville resident, long time. This building and the whole intention of the project is not to change things very much. So it's been a restaurant. We're not increasing the restaurant capacity significantly, if at all, because we're adding bathrooms potentially too, which takes away floor space. So that's a given. We don't need to add parking spaces for that because it's grandfathered. And the rooms, right now, there's one apartment upstairs, which is where Jim and his wife live currently. And there's 9 other sleeping rooms. They're not even considered hotel rooms because they don't have their own bathroom. So they're very small. So what we're doing is keeping 9, adding between 2 and 3 additional units. We're not quite set on that yet. But those are the ones that would trigger more parking, the additional units, not the existing units. It's because this project is not starting from scratch. It's been there for how long? Decades and decades. How long? Like 80 years. Yeah, so it's also really not adding to the parking needs in the neighborhood. I think a lot of people traveling probably have Uber and such. So, but that's why. Does that make sense?
Not really, but thank you. I appreciate, I mean, it's grandfathered.
That's
Okay, it's
exactly right.
grandfathered.
I think that I just 2 blocks up the hill, on down, and I don't think that over. Yeah, but we have people all over the getting my mind. So, oh, I live 2 blocks up the hill. And leave your street, go shopping or go anywhere. Come home, there's somebody parked right in front of your house. I've had I didn't ask. Like, well, I said, you might be asking for. We was at a restaurant. We. We was in a restaurant. 2 blocks up there, because they had no one else. I think it was.
Yeah, pass it back to the team, but I just want to say this really doesn't reflect a big increase in usage because the restaurant's been there. There's technically 10 units in the hotel currently, so 2 to 3 more units. I don't think it would add a lot more people, but yes, there is a challenge with parking on Butler Street. We acknowledge that. However, it's a wonderfully walkable neighborhood, so hopefully we can encourage more alternate modes of transportation for people to get around.
I'm not gonna make this. It's not gonna go away. It's not gonna get better.
I think one of the things just to share as well that Christine and our other architects are working very closely. They are the ones that ultimately make the decisions around the additional parking spaces based on the guidelines that they follow. So we are still in that process of determining exactly how many rows. And that will either trigger more parking or it will trigger more parking. We're already looking at options and talking with other businesses in the area to figure out if we need to add, where can we do that? How can we do that? And we will be able to add handicap accessible parking on 55th Street. So that will be added and we'll have to submit a permit.
Maybe this would be a good moment to explain where we're at in the process. One of the reasons why we hosted this meeting is because a liquor license transfer application was submitted. And there's a 30-day window for a public protest period. So as Lawrenceville United and Lawrenceville Corporation, our MO, whenever there's a new liquor license, is to get it in that 30-day, to have this meeting in that 30-day window. However, the zoning process is an entirely different process, which we're not at yet, correct?
Right, so we're in the process of the zoning review.
Yeah.
And there's a meeting that we'll have to go through and we'll be providing more information.
You said a new license, I mean, it's the same thing to do transfer, right?
That's right. Jim's question was, that it's not a new license, it's a transfer of an existing one. And it's a person to person, so it's the same license that's already was at Nied.
Same business practice.
Exactly. It's just changing the name, the person who owns the liquor license.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
Okay, let's go to Ronald. Let's get around to question.
Ronald on 5412, so I'm excited that you guys are going to put that back out. My question is, where the dumpster is to be? Dumpster.
Yeah, I don't think it was on one of the pictures.
It'll be recessed
Yeah.
into the new build. Okay.
Talk about office resident.
I'm excited because the trash cans that are one wall, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I can show you a picture of what it looks like from the back. That will be reception.
This is great here along the wall. I just graciously let them stay there because I be a good neighbor. Yeah. But that's not easy to have. I'm excited that they're.
So the other thing is one of the reasons, I mean, it's a very tight site, so it's very, very hard to put parking on the site. But in order to do a good job with the dumpsters, it's taking area that could have been parking area. So it's kind of like, and it's a tight alley, you can't really get into that alley very well, and the whole site is sloping. So it's really not ideal for providing parking once you block the whole back, but that's where the dumpsters go. So it's straight off the back alley. I imagine the vehicle would come into the backside, you could open the doors, pull it out, empty the bins and move on. So,
All right, thank you. We're actually doing this really great grease trap system too, where all the fry oil gets funneled straight from inside the kitchen. There will be no like big rolling grease bucket outside. A lot of places down, like big, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump over. I think we have a comment or a question in Facebook, so we're gonna read that, and then we'll get around to second questions after we get through everybody.
Lee Bannister asked, parking on Butler Street has gotten tight with Hop Farm use on Butler, Pusides, etc. high-speed cars, dirt bike, quad racing, hot dogging, hit and runs of parked vehicles, busy hospital parking lots and traffic during peak shift changes are all combining to endanger residents and visitors. How does this coordinate with the traffic and parking master plan being socialized presently? And can those efforts be prioritized here to support this redevelopment? Thanks for your investment in this landmark property and being good neighbors.
And the parking and traffic study being referenced there, I think maybe I should cue this up. Yeah.
I think this is.
So the other issue, we've been having a lot of conversations around parking and mobility in the neighborhood over the past month. So there's two pieces to that. One is called the Mobility Enhancement District, which proposes to generate new revenue to improve our public infrastructure for mobility in the neighborhood by expanding meters in the neighborhood. So increasing where there's already meters, for example, in central Lawrenceville, they end at 6 o'clock. On the weekends, could we extend those into the evening hours? And that money would be captured locally to fund things like sidewalk improvements, bump outs, bus shelters, many, many other things to improve our public rights of way for everybody. And then, part of that has also been expanding meters into upper Lawrenceville too. So that, potentially down, all the way to Nied. And then a second part of that conversation has been around residential permit parking. But the response, we got a lot of responses, and upper Lawrenceville, you guys really did not want residential permit parking. People who lived there, that's what we heard in our surveys was there was pretty overwhelming consensus against residential permit parking at this stage.
Yeah, right?
I'm sorry?
You have that in mind for, okay,
There is residential permit parking currently in the Ninth Ward. What's that?
so parking is okay down there.
Yeah, the people there really love it. Yeah.
Only part.
Yes, part of central Lawrenceville. Above Butler, there are 2 residential permits. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your answer.
Yeah. I know there's a meeting about 45.
So, and by the way, if you've missed all those meetings and all that conversation around meters and the mobility enhancement district and residential permit parking, we're gonna have a recap on our website soon. You can already go to our Facebook and catch the debrief, the final meeting that we had 1 week ago tomorrow. Sorry, they're all blurring together for me now. We've had a lot of meetings about this in the last month, so. And there's a great landing page on Lawrenceville Corporation's website too, where you can read exactly what all the mobility enhancement district includes, a survey and various different options for residential permit. Okay, other comments or questions back to what's Nied Hotel?
You can go here first.
Okay, we'll go back to Tom. And then come back.
First, I'd like to say I'm all for preserving parts of old Pittsburgh that have been here forever. I think it's really important to do that. And then I'd like to add this again about parking. I'm almost certain you guys are underestimating parking. You did down at Spirit. And when you have an event, you can't park anywhere near your house. And I get a feeling that you're just missing the parking thing and gonna do what the law requires rather than what you actually need that the neighborhood is gonna suffer for.
So Lauren Byrne Connolly, who is a resident at Carnegie Street, said, excited to see that there are plans to keep the spirit of needs in the neighborhood. Thank you. Really excited to see Christina in studio for spatial practice engaged. I echo some of the comments made on traffic and excited to see how the mobility enhancement district could support this. Does this business and the owners support med and meters in the 10th ward? I hope Jimmy and Slim stay in the 10th ward forever.
Yeah, me too. I think just to kind of talk through a couple of the last questions, I learned about the study as you were talking about it, so I think anything that we can do to support and help, like, we're absolutely here for that, and that's what we want to do, so I appreciate the feedback, and we hear your concerns 100%. So let us, see what we can work with these folks on and how we can support that initiative, because it makes sense. People wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't needed.
Yeah, find about 50% more parking than you think you need.
And to Lauren's question, can you maybe speak to the current tenants, of your building and what the plan is there?
Different times, sure. So there's, two folks still living in the hotel. And we are, working with them on, creating, so there's a single family house, right behind the hotel, that, has a tenant in it, who's looking to downsize. So we are working with Parish, to find him, a place where he wants to be this one level. He's just looking for more, smaller accommodations. So we're working with him to do that. The tenant that was in, 5435, we helped her relocate a couple blocks up. Worked with her on getting a moving truck, worked with her on getting her the security deposit, things like that to get to her new place. And all really proactively, we weren't sure when we were gonna close on that one, and she was great to work with, and we're glad we were able to get her to a really nice place that she wanted in the 10 where she wanted to stay, which was really cool. So the house behind the hotel will be renovated once that tenant is out of there. Or once that tenant has moved out, and we'll be working with a couple different organizations in the city that we've been networking with to make that veterans housing, so that the one of our tenants in the hotel is going to be able to stay there as veterans housing, and also looking to work with one of our good friends that's the director at Veteran Affairs to figure out, is there a way to make it 2 units so that we can have 2 veterans that would have a still back there. And then in the single family home that is connected to the amphitheater, there will be a studio unit underneath on the bottom. What's awesome about that house is that the ground level is just as high, the ceilings are just as high as the other level. So it's able to be made into a studio apartment, and that's going to be residence housing, and that's going to be housing artist residency. So that anyone currently staying at the hotel that needs to stay over there will be able to do that as well.
Just a follow-up question on that, you said, some of these units might be affordable. Have you priced out kind of like what affordable looks like?
For the single family homes?
Yeah, for the affordable units, I just mentioned in the previous.
Yeah. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but the idea behind a lot of what we're doing is that some of the rooms are going to offset the cost, so that we're going to be able to make affordable units available on each floor, and then also the artist residency, and then also the
Thank you. Larry, I saw your hand up.
David, no, I was just, you said for people, I heard you say something about, the zoning board, like you said, you're gonna get some handicap spots on 55th. Now, there's really, I say about 6 between Carnegie and Butler Street, maybe 6. Now, if you could take out,
It's just one spot.
one spot for handicap. Yeah, and I'm concerned because I've been living there, like I said, about 20 years, the parking is really terrible, I have 2 vehicles. And you're constantly shuffling cars around. If you're in Carnegie or on Butler, or if you get hit, or something, or once or twice I got hit, 2 vehicles, and it's just parking is just terrible. So other than that. And then the other thing I was concerned about, the rooftop thing, with the houses right directly in the back, the ones in the alley, on the corner there. I was concerned, how's the, venue and what time is it gonna be shut down, and, is it gonna be open till 10, 11 o'clock on the weekends,
That,
because that would be echoing all the way through the alleyway.
that space will just be meant for hotel guests, so our bar restaurant guests will not have.
No more.
So there will be no music up there, it will just be an outside space for hotel guests. Yeah.
Other comments, questions? Go back around to Joanne. Anybody else that has gotten to speak yet? Anything? on
There's
Facebook?
one from Facebook
All
as well. So Tim Schooley is asking, what's the strategy of how Needs will run will be run in conjunction with Spirit. I'm assuming you're expanding and will continue to operate both. Is that right?
We have a different team in place for needs, so it will be separate from here.
It was basically if this was an expansion of Spirit, and if it would operate differently,
No,
and it's separate.
It's a separate
Yeah,
business, there'll
it's a separate-
definitely be some like
Mhm.
overlap, like when we book a band, maybe the band can stay there, or if there's a wedding couple,
They may stay
they may
there.
stay there as well, but ultimately. it's separate.
Yeah.
Well, being very close to Spirit, one house away from Spirit, we have problems with bass and with drums. And is this gonna be a problem for the people that are near Nied? Too, are they going to have the same problems that we have in the way of sound, keeping them up at night and?
As far as I'm aware of, there was like very few issues with sound whenever the bands perform there.
I know they'd end at 10 o'clock, wouldn't they, at night?
I think even earlier.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't even imagine us
You're not
staying up
going-
in that late probably for a lot of them, yeah.
Okay,
It
so,
wouldn't be any different than it is currently.
okay, so you're not going to do what you did with Spirit, say it was a rental for all kinds of arts and then put a band after band.
No,
You know, like you do that.
no. For the record, Spirit was always gonna be music venue.
And we also just spent a lot of money to fix the problem, and I thought that since we fixed the problem, we haven't heard of any complaints, so I think we're going in the right direction. What's that?
I heard it one night. As a matter of fact, I was a half a block away, I was at 49th and Ashfield. I was walking to the house, I was in the middle of the block on Ashfield Street, 49th and Ashfield.
I know we,
And I could hear the music at 49.
what
Yeah.
was that?
And it was after you had done you solved everything. Yes, I don't have the date, but Cleo has.
I've been checking in with Cleo and Tom every week, and I've been asking if there have been any services, and have heard nothing
I
for
did,
the past few weeks. So this is new to me.
I did tell Cleo, she said she was going to document it, so you hopefully have heard about that. This was right after the renovation.
This is my first Saturday, I think, is what she's.
Yeah, but there's still a hole in the wall.
We have fixed that. We have now fixed the problem.
Just to let you know, I did hear it. And it was. after
Understood,
that.
and we have fixed that problem. Hopefully, we will not hear anything moving forward. That is the goal, is to give you guys some peace. And I mean, we spent a lot of money to do this, so we do really care about making sure that you guys are satisfied.
Certainly hope so, because
Yeah.
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, same. I mean,
And I
we
don't
feel the same
want
way.
to say how long it is, but you know.
We do know.
Other comments or questions?
Sure. James McNeil. Right at the corner of the address and 4th Street. Wanted to start by saying this is great. I'm really excited about it. I actually think considering the property and the potential otherwise, this is the perfect solution that would probably be more and maintain it. I will say though, and this is myself and some other neighbors, obviously, I think the parking thing is a legitimate matter to resolve. I think there are solutions nearby, so I would encourage you to do that. And similarly, the commitment around free music is not going to be on with the past. That would be fantastic. And then the final thing, just on the dumpster, just the roof to the dumpster. The ground right by our house, potentially they came down resident, so just to keep that in mind. But generally, I think this is not likely to be a great addition to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The dumpster pickup conversation, we always get those complaints at Lawrenceville United. A lot of unfortunately, the waste management companies like to come at 4 o'clock in the morning when there's no traffic, make for, I guess, more efficient operations, even though that is a city ordinance, so. We'll count on you guys to manage that contract really well. Other comments or questions? Facebook Live?
No.
We can sit here and silence, I'm fine with that. Okay, great. Well, I guess we'll, at this point, then close out the Q&A period. If folks do have other questions or comments afterwards, you can direct them to Lawrenceville Nied or Lawrenceville Corporation. And I trust that we can reach out to you guys and follow up.
Can we get a round of applause for Janine for?
Jim, is there anything you'd like to say?
Excuse me, I was gonna say, Jim, is there anything you'd like to say?
I lived above, the bar. I lived above the bar in my internal life, not other than, grade school and, high school. And, I take to heart everybody's concerns, especially on parking. And I gotta tell you the truth, there was a point in time when there was no shop and save. And there was parking on both sides. And what transpired was either you're gonna give up on all those parking spots or you're not gonna get a shop and save. What do you want? I don't know if this is making sense to you, but we all voted for, we wanted to shop and save. So we lost a lot of parking. And on Butler Street today, going up Butler Street from 54th to 55th, between 55th and 56th, you can park there on that side. Nobody ever parks there.
It's true.
All right.
Yeah, there's a good like 8 spots, you know, at least.
Finding parking for like, on Good Friday or something like that. I put my car out there to let the people know. Every now and then it's in the car and it's fine. Just let them know that they can park there. And 7, 8, 9 more parking spots that are not utilized makes an impact. And, like, Tommy, he was worried about parking. He voted for, I mean, his friends and neighbors, they all voted for shop and save. It's not need to account. I don't even know about that.
I know they tried to keep that. The Keystone one way and the Trinity another way. So because of traffic, two ways, you can't even get through. But they wouldn't go, make it one way. Now this, like I said, with the parking, when it happens, anybody out there on the street, 2 blocks up the hill, and they say they're waiting to, they want their, get out of the streets, down to the corner restaurant. Never your place, I mean, anybody that's what the person that got needs. Like,
I remember it was up for 1896.
I think it's.
Everybody moved in, saw that big building on the corner.
But this is not gonna make it any better.
No, it's not. gonna get any better.
All
Well,
the sugar government is saying,
Right, what they say.
their sugar company. That parking is not, like I said, that people up there are gonna suffer. From now to Tuesday. And this situation isn't gonna make it any better. They're talking like, oh, well, we're gonna make money. So you won't have that. That's not true. And the same with they're just sugar company, right? Noise, the same thing. How many years did I take? And I would say, never again, I guess, but I went to the story. I'm 2 blocks up the hill, and I hear that music And look at these things. Take it from there. This stuff will, like, it's over.
You were hearing noise issues even before the ban.
And if you're saying, you know, talking with people, and they would say, where's that music at? That's a 2 blocks away.
All right, any other comments or questions before we?
I wonder, hey. Are you, gonna let them have your recipe for your famous fish now?
Absolutely.
You got one of that at the NSA, that was his favorite meeting. The famous fish.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's give another round of applause for Jim. Tim, so much for the community, and I know that institution, that restaurant has been an institution in St. Louis for many generations, and we all really appreciate you, Jim. Thank you. All right, I think we're gonna wrap the Q&A now, and go into next steps and have closed door discussion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you to our guests. Thanks, Mary, Lee, Tom, and Austin, sorry. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you.
We will have like a little closed door section. You guys are welcome to stay. We'll have a few next steps. All right, thank you, Mike. Thanks, guys. Just to wrap this portion, so again, this whole process was triggered by the liquor license transfer application. That orange placard that you see in the windows is your best indication of that's happening. If you do, want to take action on your own, you can follow the link up here on the slide, to find out how to protest the liquor license. And if you have any other comments or questions for us, those are our email.
Can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, before we go into this, we're saying it's a closed door discussion. We are still live streaming on Facebook and we're keeping notes. Okay, so this is not a secret meeting.
I think that, okay, just in case you have a protest for their liquor license. We do for spirit for the renewal, and it took me you pretty much have to write it into them on an email because their site isn't working properly. You'll try to do the protest, and I tried to do it for a month off and on COVID, and I was thinking I'd get to the end of it, and then I couldn't get the code to turn it in. So I ended up having to send them an email and giving them all the information and going back and forth with them for the protest. So if you do have one, just know that the liquor license people aren't very good at it. You can call them and maybe that will help, whatever, but if you do have
Thanks, Matt.
I have a question about the, transfer of the liquor license. It's real interesting to me, and maybe you can answer this, and please, I'm trying to be smart. We are protesting this liquor license in spirit, as you will know, where. How is spirit needs whatever, able to apply for a liquor license transfer? If they already have one protest to get them whatever, bunch of us protests against the spirit entity of people. How is that happening? How is the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board allowing that to happen?
I don't know the answer to that specific question. As I understand it, the PLCB does review certain background documents as part of a transfer application. I do not know, frankly, to what extent previous liquor licenses violations on those liquor licenses and or active protests or appeals on other liquor license, to what extent that is part of their review criteria, but I'm happy to reach out and try to get you an answer on that, Chris.
Certainly like that.
Okay,
I'd like to add to that. We've been fighting this for 6 years, and I think it's intentional that the process whereby you protest liquor license has been intentionally obfuscated by money makers. I don't think it's an accident. The site's broken. I think they don't want you to protest, and then they can go, look, nobody's protesting. Fine.
okay, before we close out, some upcoming events. We kicked off the farmer's market yesterday. Come join us every Tuesday at Bay 41. We had a beautiful day, and the market great this year. Our farmers market staff has done a really great job. So come check us out at 41st and Willow. We also have a number of other community development meetings coming up in the next 2 weeks. It's been a really busy month, I have to tell you. Next week, we're gonna have Children's Hospital. This will be a meeting at the library at 5:30 p.m. 1 week from tomorrow. They are going to be proposing a expansion of their building, the mid-campus parking garage. They are going to be building up from there to accommodate a new park institute is what they're proposing. So we're going to have a community meeting about that next Thursday at the library at 5:30. And then I think it came up earlier with Lawrence Hall, which is the one right across from the Boys and Girls Club that I think you were referring to earlier, Joanne.
Yeah.
They obviously are doing a lot of construction. I'm sure folks have noticed. They also applied for their liquor license, which is always part of their plans.
Are they
but-
going to get to go? Are they going to get to actually?
Yeah, they got all their zoning approvals 4 or 5 years later. There was a lot of legal back and forth. One particular resident appealed
Because,
their zoning decision.
yeah, because I sat there and looked at this and went, these people just have a lot of, they're part of the good old boy
Yeah.
network of Pittsburgh, whereas these people were new. And they were yelling over a few parking places, and these people are going to put in hotel rooms and all this other stuff, and they don't have to have any parking. And that just.
Yeah, so again, they haven't done the zoning review, but it is it is the same use. And then that's why it's not, when I say grandfather, that's what they mean. It's like, if this building is already zoned as an office and then they sell it to somebody else and then they're also using it as an office, it's the same use. So unless you're changing the footprint, the overall square footage, or changing the use,
Yeah.
right? So that is why I think their analysis at this point is that they will not need a parking variance, but they haven't submitted for those formal applications yet, so that will
But
be
have you
determined.
been using those, have you used all those hotel rooms the whole time? Or they have been rented at all times?
The question is, yeah, is the upstairs currently used as room? Yeah, yes, it is,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, just wanted to, thank you.
It's currently zoned as a hotel,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Please tell me where this is that you're talking about.
We're talking, so I'm sorry, Lawrence Hall is across from the Boys and Girls Club on the 4600 block of Butler Street.
What was the girls club or the new was the girls club?
The new, or the existing Boys and Girls Club, 4609 Butler Street, 2 doors down from Lawrence Indeed.
Okay, you mean that empty is a garage?
Yes, that's right.
And what are they doing there? Why am I so confident about it?
Well, this is a community process that started 4 or 5 years ago, actually, I think it was. We had at least 3 community meetings about it over those years. Yes, they're proposing, it's a food hall, so it'll have multiple restaurants within it, kind of like a small and galley, you know? So small little vendors and then a common seating area where you can get food. And they're up now applying for the liquor license, which is why it's going to be in front of the community again.
And what else is going in there?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. then. I misunderstood.
Yeah. And their plans have not changed since they were from, slightly, but you know, the overall concept, what they had shared with us 5 years ago, and what's happening today, it just took 5 years to get through appeals.
Okay.
So that's what that June 1st meeting is gonna be about, and it'll just be an update to, 5 years later of what's actually happening there now. And do you wanna talk about the
Yeah.
June 17th?
We're planning Lawrenceville's for big first neighborhood wide event, for June 17th from 12 to 4. There'll be all kinds of things happening throughout the neighborhood. But the big block party will be at block 31 with Persad Center. And many other businesses and resources and organizations, food, drinks. So yeah, let's see. Thank you.
Are there any other, let's save kind of this closed door discussion too, so if there's any other questions you have for LU or LC or input you have for us as part of this community process, we always like to provide that opportunity to hear it. So before we close out for tonight, is there anything else that folks want to say, share, get off the chat? Affirmation? It can be hard.
Fair observation, the question, like, the experience in hospitality. So, I mean, they responded to that. Thank you very much. Because it's not. Hotel will not say this. I have certain music.
That they can do.
Yeah.
One.
Sure. Williams had a round. Previously been part of.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I've lived here 16 years. Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Final thought? Things you're excited about this summer?
All right, they will.
All right, well, thank you all. Is there anything else from Facebook Live?
Nope.
All right, thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks again for coming out. And get home safe, and we'll see you probably next week.
There are flyers in the back for the Heart Institute if you want to take one.
Thank you.
Oh.
Sir.
Everybody.